Welcome to the Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Frankie, and sitting across from me is Cam. Cam, how's it going?
Pretty good. Excited to be here at the ABC FFP.
Sure. So this is going to be a podcast that we're going to do for our fantasy league this season. I think we're going to have a lot of fun here. We're going to talk about the league. We're going to talk some trash. We're going to have some guests on. We're going to do lots of things. What do you think? What do you want to do with this, Cam?
I want to just use this as a way to forecast to everybody how dominant my team's going to be and how much they all suck.
Well, hopefully that won't happen. You'll be bad this year. I think it's what we're all really rooting for at the end of the day.
Hasn't happened yet.
So at least my goal, I think we should we're going to be aiming for a show a week for the entirety of 2018 season and hopefully beyond. I don't know, maybe next year, maybe we just have fun and continue on this for whatever.
Yeah.
So we're 6 days out from the draft.
I'm getting butterflies already.
Things are heating up. Just yesterday, we finally established all of the keepers and our draft positioning as Cam dropped something.
My phone.
Your phone.
Also divisions.
And divisions. All very exciting things. I have the draft board up right here. So we have lots of interesting things happening. Cam ended up is in the first position.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be drafting the 101. I'm at 103, although I have a keeper taking up my first round as Le'Veon Bell, so I'll really get the 210 to start off my draft. But I don't know. Did you want to talk about what you're thinking about for the 101? Because no one can steal from you at that point.
All right. So, as I've been saying often recently, I've been going back and forth between Saquon Barkley and Melvin Gordon. But then Levi just had to throw a monkey wrench into the mix by not keeping DeAndre Hopkins for whatever reason. So now I am just going to flip a coin that hopefully has three sides right before the beginning of the draft and go with that.
Yeah. For context, you're keeping Kareem Hunt and Alvin Kamara on your team, so you already have two locked and loaded running backs. So it makes sense to go for DeAndre Hopkins now that he's available, but I don't know. I think we've talked about before the bust potential of both of those players, especially Kareem Hunt, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So having a locked and loaded, another running back like a Saquon, who could be, no one's taking Saquon's role this season.
Yeah.
As opposed to a bunch of the other rookie running backs, and Melvin Gordon as well. The guy's going to be a beast probably.
Melvin Gordon's definitely my safe option, but Saquon's just so shiny and exciting.
I know. There's lots of exciting things to look forward to, especially, let's see. Yeah, so I'm like I said, I have a first-round keeper in Le'Veon Bell, so I don't get drafted second round. And I'm looking at all these other players that are being keepers. Like we got Zeke, Fournette, AP, Gurley, DJ, Odell Beckham, Gronk, and I know it happens every year when I get to the draft. I feel like once I don't realize it until the draft starts that once I start seeing all these players going, I'm like, where did all the talent go?
Yeah.
I just I go in, I'm like, okay, I'll get this guy this round, this guy this round, and it's just like, man, I feel like everyone just gets sad about all the potential of the players I could have on my team, but then I'm stuck with, whatever I get.
Well, at least you aren't sandwiched in between you and Lassie, because on the turn right there, you guys are both going to get 2 picks before me every time. So I'm just going to have to wait and hope you guys don't take my guys.
It's funny that you look at it that way. When I look at it as you and Lassie have 4 picks right before me.
It's true.
I had the choice of either the 6 spot or the 3 spot. And I talked about this a bit. Going through all these different mock drafts, every time I put myself in the middle of the draft, I just could never settle with the value that I really cared for.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every player that was either I wanted that was in position to be drafted was way overvalued or way under, and it's well, do I wait for him? It just was a headache, and then I just felt like, I don't know, being closer to the turns just makes things a bit more clear for me. I don't know.
All right, Frankie, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
After we picked our draft spots yesterday, was there anyone's decisions that kind of surprised you? Like anyone you thought would pick somewhere else but didn't?
I don't know. I feel like you're leading me on. Not particularly.
Well, for me, I was pretty confused with Greg's selection because he had the option to be pretty far back in the first round so that we could get a good second-round pick. But for some reason, he chose not to, and Now his only pick in the top 3 rounds is going to be in the middle back of the second round. And
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work out for him, but we'll see.
Greg is probably the most curious keeper to me. Well, besides for Levi, obviously, but I don't know. I guess I mostly get the Leonard Fournette keeper for the first rounds, but I don't at all understand Aaron Rodgers for a third.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Because if he didn't keep Leonard Fournette in the first round too, he maybe could have gotten one of Saquon Barkley or Melvin Gordon if DeAndre Hopkins is picked there.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I guess Levi's whole situation was just very confusing to me overall.
If he didn't win last season, I definitely would be questioning it a lot more. But, he's got the track record to back up his crazy decisions.
Something like that. Yeah. Let me see what else is here to report. Oh, I guess the other big story, maybe we're bearing the lead here, is the fact that the situation with Justin and his extra first-round draft pick because of the trade with Logan. Much to the whole league's chagrin about how that all fall out. Justin gets to keep Odell Beckham with the 112 and gets he gets a first round keeper and also gets a first and second round pick to go along with that.
Since the trade last season was actually Logan trading his first round for Justin's 9th round, it's basically he's keeping Odell in the 9th round for free.
Yeah, that's
pretty crazy.
Yeah, but you're keeping a Kamara for an 11, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you noticed you want to talk about?
Let's see. I think, speaking of the trade for a first-round pick, Logan is definitely in the deepest hole of any team we have.
Yeah.
Only getting one pick in the first 3 rounds, and then keeping Devontae Adams for the 3rd, which is good value, but it's going to be tough. He's going to have to hit on his picks in order to get a good team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Logan sent me his keepers, I was surprised. I was like, but then the more I thought about it, the more I like it. I like it. Both Dion Lewis for a 9th and Devontae for a 3rd. I was like, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, I'm proud of him for not keeping Robbie Anderson as much as I'm sure he loves him.
I also like how Austin went with the double of free agency keepers, keeping Alex Collins and Josh Gordon for an 8th and a 9th. That's like I'm not so super sure how I feel about the whole Josh Gordon situation and what he's going to be this year. I mean, I get as hyped as anyone else watching Hard Knocks, and Alex Collins, I mean, I'm sure he'll be good. I don't know.
I'd be a lot more sketched out about Austin's situation if he didn't have that 102 pick, because that'll allow him to add some solid talent to his roster.
True. It's absolutely true. Let's see. Anything else here?
So when I was looking at this earlier, I was kind of ranking all the teams in my head.
Sure.
And I think everyone could kind of agree that I'm the best situation right now.
Yes.
Like, not to toot my own horn, but it's pretty good. And I was thinking that Justin's actually second, even though he doesn't really have a keeper on his team line. He's still got Odell, which will help him out a bunch, getting him basically for free.
Yes.
And then next, I actually had Devin, because even though he doesn't really have solid value in his keepers, getting Todd Gurley at the back of the first, the best overall player in the league, I think that'd be pretty good. And Zach Ertz, getting him for the 7th means that he doesn't have to sacrifice depth to get a solid tight end.
Mm-hmm.
So if he drafts well, I think that could work out really well for him.
Yeah, I guess when you consider that all the top 3 tight ends were keepers this year, and Gronk, Kelsey, and Ertz. Gronk for a 2nd, Kelsey for a 4th, and Ertz for a 7th. That's at least for our draft. That's fantastic. I mean, and actually in any draft, that's fantastic value. Yeah. All right.
One other thing I found kind of interesting was JP's the only team in the league using both his first 2 picks for keepers.
Yep.
Kind of would have thought that would have been more common, just locking up that solid talent, but I'm proud of our league going for a lot more value picks.
That's true. I didn't have that option. If anyone can remember, it was a rough year last year for your boy.
Not trying to keep Isaiah Crowell in the 2nd, Frankie?
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I guess maybe that's why I look at Josh Gordon. I just look at anybody who played for the Cleveland Browns, and I'm just I don't want him. I don't
I'm not trying to bless anybody this year, Frankie.
Your Jarvis Landry's so overrated. I'm right about that. I mean, do you feel different?
No, Hard Knocks effect is definitely going on right now.
It's crazy. I mean, I get that, like, I too enjoy watching a couple slow motion one-handed grabs against Browns defenders, and they have a decent defense, you know, better front eight than a secondary, but like still, it's like, I don't know. He was the one that got in the fight in the most recent episode, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and like you saw him with that player, like he was. Players will defensive backs can get nasty. There are lots of hand fighting, and like I get that he was a bit extra, but he wasn't catching those balls in those plays. Like he was dropping a lot of them.
Yeah, the cornerback definitely got in his head.
Yeah, so. We'll see. We will see. Alrighty. So Cam, you were talking earlier about how you've ranked the situations that you think all these players are in.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely true. I already talked about it a little bit, saying that I think I'm first, Justin's second, Devin's third. And the next team I actually think is in the best position is Austin Lassiter. Because we talked about earlier how he's got some value keepers, but adding in that second overall pick, I just think that if he hits on those early picks, his team could be a force to be reckoned with. Next, actually, I'm not sure how confident I feel about this, but I actually put JP. Because he is not getting great value with Gronk in the second, but David Johnson at the back of the first could be a league winner, honestly. And Gronk, if he plays healthy all year, could return solid investment value for that second overall pick. It just requires that he doesn't, draft Booby Dixon with any of his other draft picks and actually hits on some good picks.
Yeah, that's one of the more curious picks. I'm wondering, JP goes running back or wide receiver with that 3-11.
Yeah, I think he might just have to see what kind of value falls to him because he's got a nice quick turnaround with only one pick before his next pick. So he could probably get 2 solid picks there.
Yeah.
But he's got to do his research, which we all know JP, who hasn't joined the league yet, will probably not do.
Never forget last season, like an hour before our draft, we're sitting there, JP goes, "What, Zeke suspended?" After we've been listening for like 4 months of news about Zeke getting suspended.
Hey, never count out the guy that knew Young Ho Koo would be on a team before any of us knew who he was.
I don't think Younghoe played more than like 4 games.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so after JP, my next pick for best team was Dylan. And Dylan is kind of following Austin's whole theory of going for the value keepers rather than the top guys, just securing them on your team. And yesterday, Dylan was actually talking about how he has a lot of guys that are still available that he thinks are high quality talent. So if he's hoping that those guys fall to him with his first and second round pick, he could have a solid depth on his roster and be something to really contend for.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
He's got to be able to get some stars on there, I think, because his 2 keepers right now both got injured in preseason.
That's true.
So there's a lot of risk there.
You have, I would say, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of hype around. There's still, obviously, there's a lot of hype around Vikings camp. I mean, this is a Super Bowl or bust year. Got a new quarterback in place. No rapport with any receivers yet. We'll see what's happening there. And then I honestly have no idea what's happening in the Bay with the 49ers.
Yeah,
like
Jeremy is crazy.
I mean, we've seen the power of we've seen how running backs who are quality NFL running backs can disappear in fantasy if their quarterbacks or their offenses just can't produce and they're behind all game. But I mean, Jimmy G looked good in his starts. He looked terrible in the preseason, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Dylan's definitely got a lot of upside there, but it could all fall on his face if they don't hit.
Yeah.
So next, I actually said that you, Frankie, were the best or the 7th best team based on keepers. Mostly because Le'Veon Bell, who is also a locked and loaded stud, you just curt him for your team. And also Juju Smith-Schuster in the 9th. While Juju's not, a world burner of like a fantasy player, getting him in the 9th round can definitely help you, allow you to have some more flexibility and in your draft.
Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, we've seen year after year, there's some quarterbacks that can only really support one like star running wide receiver 1, and then the rest are just kind of flex plays. But I feel like Juju can be a week in and week out solid wide receiver 2. Obviously, he's not going to surpass AB, but I feel like the addition of James Washington just makes me more excited for Juju's potential as well, because we've seen James Washington's going to be the downfield burner like the Martavis role, while Juju will pick up a lot of the like mid-range routes, which he was so good at. And yeah, Lev Bell, honestly, I'm worried about week one.
Yeah.
I'm worried about week one. I'm worried about him. What happened last year is him take really 3 games to really get back into football form. And I have a big matchup week one against a young Logan Roth.
Logan's already marked that on his calendar.
I know very well. But yeah, and like considering I honestly didn't have really any other option. The only person I was even like thinking about potentially keeping, it really wasn't thinking about it that much, was taking a Christian McCaffrey. I think he would have been for my 2nd round pick.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about Christian McCaffrey overall. I mean, yeah, I don't know. He's one of those players I honestly would probably be avoiding this draft, but I don't think he'll even drop to me anyways. So.
He's been gaining a lot of hype this offseason, but that offensive line is definitely sketchy in Carolina.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Carolina has, I don't know. They have I feel like they have a tough schedule. They play in a hard division. I mean, I guess the Buccaneers aren't going to be much this season, but they have 4 games that I don't want to play in, against the Saints and the Falcons. But anyways, yeah, so who's next?
So next, at 8th, I had Levi, because even though his keepers were pretty questionable, I'd say, getting Travis Kelce in the 4th round could be solid value, especially if Mahomes is in love with Travis Kelce as Alex Smith was. And then Will Fuller in the 9th, while I think he probably could have just not kept him and then just drafted him in the 7th or 8th round, securing him on your team, if you believe that he can repeat how amazing he was last season, could definitely put Levi back in the championship game.
Yeah, it's just like curious to me why he would, if he believes in the Houston offense, why he wouldn't just keep DeAndre Hopkins instead of Will Fuller. But I guess it's the value proposition.
It's definitely true. And also Dalvin Cook, who in the 3rd round, or no, he would have been in the 2nd round.
2nd round, yeah.
But still, that Minnesota Vikings offense, like we talked about, could definitely support a lot of fantasy points.
Yeah.
But what I do like about Levi's whole setup is that he has the 3rd available pick at the 1.6.
Yeah.
With 3 keepers ahead of him, he'll get the 3rd best player available. Which honestly will probably be DeAndre Hopkins if I don't pick him.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works out for Levi. And then after Levi, I said Tyler is the next best position.
Yeah.
Because while Tyler is the only team only keeping one... Actually, no, I guess Justin is as well. But Antonio Brown is a locked and loaded stud, as we all know. And getting him at the 7th pick in the 1st round... instead of having to draft someone like DeAndre Hopkins, or it's even worse, allows him to just secure his wide receiver 1 position for the whole year, basically, and then just draft his way into a solid team.
Yeah.
He's not set up super well based on what Daniel gave him last year, but I think he's just going to have to do as best he can with it.
Yeah, I mean, any draft where you're getting Antonio Brown in the 7th pick, I think, is a steal. Like, even this year with, like, how much people are valuing running backs. Like, yeah, I feel like Tyler made the best decision he possibly could have made there.
Yeah. And after that, we're at the 10th spot. So these teams are definitely not, out ahead of the 8 ball, but if with some good drafting, they could probably make it out. We have Jake Logan, because getting Zeke at the 104 is basically where Zeke is valued right now, so it's not a lot of value there. And then Deshaun Watson, while he was amazing last year, getting him in the 9th is good value, but it's a lot more risk than a lot of other keepers around there.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say Deshaun Watson is the worst 9th round keeper rather than maybe Will Fuller, but they're kind of tied together anyway.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah. I mean, Deshaun Watson, like, anyone who thinks he's going to be able to repeat what he did last year is insane, I think.
And then after Jake, we have Gregory Bates, who we already kind of talked about it. We don't understand the kind of value he's going for here. honestly, I think it's just kind of Greg locking out the people he likes on his team and just trying to keep them there. And, Fournette could be a beast again this year. And Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't get injured, obviously is the best quarterback in football right now. But he's not adding a lot of value to his team with his keepers.
Yeah, we already talked about it. I don't get the Aaron Rodgers at all, besides for just that he likes him. Yeah.
And then last but not least is our man Logan Roth, who, I like his keepers. They're both solid values, but just trading away that first-round pick last year, I don't know if he can overcome it.
Like in general?
Yeah.
You think he's set up for failures for this season, or at least the beginning part of the season?
He's got to hit on some late-round picks, definitely. If he can find this year's Camara or something like that, then Logan will be a force to be reckoned with. But.
It sounds good to me. I'll take Logan not being a non-fantasy factor like he should be. I will take that.
I think right now Logan's just staring at that consolation bracket championship and trying to get his money back. So we'll see.
I mean, this year maybe Justin might aspire for something more than a consolation, because he's set up pretty well.
We'll see about that too.
Yeah. So I don't think there's much to do. I think those rankings are very accurate, honestly. Even though I am only number 6. So was I 7? I don't know.
7.
I was 7. Oh God. Yeah.
Hey,
all right.
Best of the worst. Remember that.
Best of the worst.
Yeah.
Is that true? Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, I'd say the top 6 teams that I ranked are all set up pretty well based on their keepers. But once you hit 7, I think everyone's sort of behind the 8 ball, and it just gets worse and worse as you go down.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, anyways. Like I say, I'm pitying myself. I feel like I did the best I could, but I obviously didn't do myself any favors last season.
Yeah, there's a problem right there.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, draft preview. Yeah, draft. Man, that's so soon. So soon. We've been waiting how many months for the draft to come up, and all of a sudden it's almost here.
And for the draft, are we thinking we do it at my house again?
Yeah.
That's what I was planning on doing.
All right.
Never had a formal announcement, but anyone listening here, plan
true.
for my house.
What are you making us?
Bring your own snacks.
Bring your own snacks?
Obviously.
I'll make something.
Okay.
Alex, what are you making us?
For the draft.
For the draft, what are you going to make us? You can talk.
A hot spaghetti noodle.
One?
Yeah, you have to share.
We should share one noodle.
Yeah.
There's going to be 12 of us.
Yeah. You gotta cut it up real small.
13 including yourself.
I'll skip.
Thank you.
Will it have JC's hot dog beef pasta sauce?
It's just a noodle, Cam. What do you think I am? I can't afford much more than that. I'm on a shoestring budget, Cam. Okay, I'd appreciate it if you...
That's right. Alex is unemployed this summer.
Yeah.
Living off other people giving him rides.
I'm willing to offer a noodle.
His only noodle.
One noodle.
Alex, did you have any insight today on what we've talked about?
No.
Alex, have you and Levi had any communications about what your plan is for your team this year?
No, I'm not officially on the team because it's a new app.
Oh, it's true.
I guess we'll have to talk to the league about adding that.
I was saying the other night, if Levi gets his brother to make the team again, I'm going to go in and mess up his entire team. And they were like, you can't because you're not on the app. So, can't do that.
Well.
There is actually one thing I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
And that is our new division setup.
Oh, that's right.
Because as some of you may know, we had our division draft last night between Logan, Dylan, and Jake Logan.
The biggest losers of our league.
As we all know. And are there any picks that people made that kind of stick out to you?
Let's see. Logan had the first pick. He obviously picked me because he has some kind of vendetta against me. I mean, I get it. I was a very strong fan. I had a very strong season 2 seasons ago. Everything just kind of fell into place. It was a miracle season, if you will. not to take away my own skill, but we all know how fantasy can be. I mean, it's one thing to have skill. It's another thing to win 9 games in a row to end the season. Like, there's an element of luck in all of this.
That is true.
Yeah, so I get the first pick for me. I wouldn't say it's the strongest pick. I feel like you could have picked someone who has a bit, less wherewithal about fantasy in general, if that's what he's looking for. But I respect it. Let's see. Jake had the second pick. He picked Tyler. I get that. He wants to pick his friend.
Definitely.
Yeah, new guy to the league. Dylan picks Greg, number 3.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking. I think Dylan is just picking someone he perceives to be less in the fantasy sphere, someone who doesn't pay as much attention.
It definitely looks as though Dylan is trying to pick the easiest teams that he can beat. However, I think he may have made a mistake picking Justin at the 4th pick because, as I said earlier, Justin, I think, has the second best setup going into the draft with his extra first-round keeper for Odell.
Yes.
And Dylan could have instead picked JP, who is about as effortful in fantasy as Justin is, but with much worse setup going in.
Yeah, that is definitely correct. Let's see. And then Logan picks Austin.
Jake Logan picked Devin next.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Picks Devin next.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like Jake's thoughts on this is just he just wants to pick people he wants to actually play against.
Yeah, I think Jake was doing this the right way, just trying to have a fun division of rivalries. However, I'm honestly not sure how I feel about Devin as a fantasy player because before last year, he never really tried. Last year, he was definitely a powerhouse team, but I'm not sure yet if that was all luck or if Devin actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
so I guess
he could pull a me and just start trying really hard all of a sudden, and then the next season just get too cute in the draft, and then I don't know, make the same mistakes I did, and just have a complete failure for the season.
Yep. So we'll have to see how
especially with
Devin
with his devotion to Eagles players. We'll see how that whole system works.
Mm-hmm.
And then Logan picks Austin, right? Because Jake picked Devin.
Yeah.
Logan picks Austin.
I'm kind of surprised that Logan there didn't pick Jake. I guess he picked Jacob Pond with his next pick. Never mind.
But his choices there were what? Austin, Levi, Cam, and JP.
Yeah. So I understand both his picks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We talked about it, though. Just looking at how Austin set up for the draft, like I don't know. I'm afraid. I don't like that I have Austin in my division. I would prefer someone else, honestly. But and then Dylan gets who did he pick? Justin and Levi?
Levi.
Just Levi. Levi. Yes.
An interesting note about that is Jake Logan actually had the pick before Dylan. So Jake Logan, between me and Levi, picked me.
Oh, I'm confused. I'm sorry.
No worries. And that's another instance of, I believe, Jake Logan just going for the most hype matchups. Because although Jake Logan and Levi are friends, I feel Jake Logan feels more inclined to try and beat me, as foolish as that might be.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can all look at the division of Jake, Tyler, Devin, Cam as probably like the headliner division. I don't know. I feel like I'm least excited about Dylan, Greg, Justin, Levi, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for Jake's division. I mean, I'm in Logan's. I think I'll do pretty well. I mean, I feel like JP is set up well, but I feel like if I'm more diligent this season, I should be able to have an easier time in that division. I only really have last year to go up against. No offense to Logan or JP.
In your division, though, I do think it's kind of exciting because you sort of have a rivalry with each person in there. With Logan, obviously, it's your week 1 constant matchups. Mm-hmm. Lassie, 2 years ago, that was your championship match, wasn't it?
That's true.
And you guys are both the powerhouses of the league that year.
I almost forgot about that.
And JP right now, you guys have a definite rivalry of trying to get him to actually join the league. So we'll see how that goes.
That's true. That's interesting. And in that season I won, I only lost 2 games that season. I believe my losses were to Austin and to Daniel, who's no longer in the league. Mm-hmm. But so Lassie and I, we got some history there. Okay, all right.
I think it could be exciting.
Yeah, and my rivalry with JP is never ending. Just join the league, Jacob Pond. It's not that hard. Yeah, and then let's see, Dylan, Greg, Levi, Justin.
All we can really hope for there is that Dylan's strategy just, nips him in the butt and he loses to all those people he considers weak opponents.
Yeah.
Which, knowing Dylan, could obviously happen.
Yeah, I want to see if there's one thing I'm rooting for this season is that Dylan doesn't repeat as having the least points scored against him, so I don't have to hear him brag for 16 weeks about how good he is when it's really just, it's complete luck. He's not good. Dylan, you're bad. You're bad at fantasy.
One thing I'd like to say before we go is I'd like for everyone that's listening to this to try and come up with division names for their division, and we can discuss that at the draft. 'Cause, names the most important part.
I agree. Alrighty, well, I've been Frankie.
I'm Cam.
Thank you for listening to the first ever episode of the Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast. We'll be back here in a week for our post-draft analysis. We'll look forward to week 1 matchups. We'll lay out some of the storylines. Yeah, I'm excited.
See you bozos at the draft.
Sounds good.